Hello and how are you? My name is Mahindo Mbark and I welcome you to another video of learning how to make web applications. In today's video, we are going to look at how we can design databases, or what we call entity relationship diagrams, a thing that we use to create or design databases. So we're going to look at the reasons why we need entity relationship diagrams in our applications and how we can do some for ourselves. So in the very first place, I will assume that you've been following our previous videos up to this point. If you are not, I really recommend that you should start by looking at the video that we've been creating in this very playlist. But if you were following, then it's okay. We're going to get started straight from where we stopped at in the previous video. So the first question is we're going to look at what we call ERD, or what we call entity relationship diagrams. If you search and read about entity relationship diagram, you'll understand that this is a structure or a model that we use to relate different entities or different models or different things that we use in our web applications. For example, when we are going to start creating real web applications, you realize that we are going to have a lot of entities in play. And these entities will need to be related to each other. So when you're designing your web application, the first thing that you'll always do is to first put down together everything that you're going to use, or that is going to make it to do a role in your web application. So after realizing what you need in your web application, the next thing that you'll need is to relate them, how they're going to be related to each other. As you can see in these images, we are having different entity diagrams. For example, you can look at this one and this one and this one. So if you search about it, you realize that this is how our different our different modules in our web application, they're related to each other. So with that much said, let us go ahead and see how we can create different web applications and different entities that will take place, and we put down different entities that will take place in our web applications, and then we see how we can make them related to each other so we can have a smooth web application. So the first thing that you'll always do is, before you're creating a certain application, is to first draw for it an ERD, or what you call entity relationship diagrams. So after drawing an ERD, so the next thing that you'll have to do is now to create the database before you jump straight into the database. Otherwise, if you go straight and start creating databases before you relate different models or different entities, how they are going to play in your application, then you'll, at the end of the day, most of the time you always regret. Why? Because you realize that there are things that you did not plan for, and you're getting them. Oh, there are things that you thought that you'll need and you already put them there. So the first thing that you always do is to first realize the entities that you need in your web application, or in your mobile application, or in whatever software that you do. And then after, you design an ERD, or a relationship diagram. So once designing it and making sure it is okay, that you do not need more or less, then you go ahead and design for them a database. So it is a very, very, very crucial step that you always do in software development. So I hope you've got now enough introduction. Let's go ahead and design one entity for ourselves. So the first thing that you do, there are softwares that you use to design database. So as we said, there are so many softwares that you can use to design your ERDs. So among the software that you can use is Lucid Charts. But still, you can go ahead and search for different ERD designing tools. Just go to Google and search ERD designing tool. You'll find a lot of suggestions that people are giving you, where that you can use to design your your ERDs. So go ahead and look through them, and maybe you may come across a one that is better than mine. But for me, comfortable and I'm okay with Lucid Charts. So let's go ahead and do what and create an account on Lucid Charts. So to go to Lucid Charts, you just simply go to your browser and put in Lucid Charts, and then you'll be able to get the very first search result of where it will have the Lucid Charts itself. So you can as well, after getting the Lucid Charts homepage, now you can go ahead and do what and log in. So if you want to create an account using email and put here your email, it is always problematic, but you can log in with an existing email by just simply coming to this login page, and then you click on for example Google. So you log in with the Gmail, of which I believe every one of you might be having one. So I already have this account, so I can click on one of my email to proceed to Lucid Charts, and there I am logged into to Lucid Charts. So once logged in, so the next thing will be now to create an entity relationship diagram. But before you reach here, of course, you may get some pop-ups. You may get some pop-ups that are asking you to do what? To do maybe the roadmap, but you can close them. You can close them until you reach here. So this is my workspace in my Lucid Charts account. So the next thing that I'm going to do is now to design an entity relationship diagram, what we call ERD. So to do that, you can simply click on new, and then you select here blank document. But since for me I already have some document, and you're limited to 5 documents, by the way, on a free account. So I'll not create another document. I'm going to use an existing one. But to create a fresh one is really simple. New, and then Lucid Charts, and then you click on blank document. So let me go ahead and open this document that's already there. And if it's your first time, really you'll get some pop-ups that can really disturb you. But what you can do is just to skip or to close until you land on a fresh and new blank document like this one. Okay, so here we are. We're going to draw our ERD, but we have not determined what we're going to do with it. So the first thing that you do is to determine which software you want to do. Of course, before you create a software, first of all, you must have you must have an idea. So there are different software that you may need to do. Among them, the one that you're going to learn how to create, or the ERD that you're going to do, for example, today, we're going to learn how to create a news application ERD. Just going to be a simple entity relationship diagram for a news website or a news application. So what we will do, first of all, you can get somewhere to note. Let me get here somewhere to note, and then first determine the tables or the entities that I'm going to need in drawing this ERD. Okay, so this is my notepad, and I'm going to write some things that I'm going to need to create this news application, news app. Okay, so the first thing, of course, that I may need in this news application, first of all, we will need users. Okay, so you can think and note down things or entities that you're going to need in your application. So of course I'll need users, so I'll begin by putting users. So I'll need users because these are the users who will be able to post, or maybe even to write some comments. So the next thing that I'll need in my application, I'll need a post. So post, these are the news now that people will be reading, okay, accessing and doing all the rest. The news, the real content itself. So those are called what? Posts. So maybe what else shall we need? Maybe we will need comments. Okay, so people should be able to comment on a certain post, and maybe also we may need also the likes. So likes is who has liked a particular post, and then lastly we may need to record the views. Okay, like who read this particular news post. So I think those are the 4 main tables that I may need in my news application. All these are the 4 main. There are 5. 5 main entities that I may need in my news application. So you can also think for yourself and determine different posts that you may need in your particular application. It can be a music application, it can be an e-commerce application, it can be a school management system, etc. So that's the first step that you do. You first determine which tables or which entities you need in your application. So after determining each the entity that you need in your application, so the next thing is now to relate them. Okay, to relate them. Hence this process being called entity. Hence what will come up with being called the entity relationship diagram. So let's go ahead and create our first entity relationship diagram for this news application. So the first one is users, then posts, then comments, then likes, then views. I think views can come after likes. I don't know. I think views can come after the post, then comments, then likes. Okay. So let's go ahead and now create this application. So these are going to be different tables. So I'll come now to my Lucid chart here. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going now to do what? I'm going to design. I'm going to put my first table. So here you'll find the shapes. So let me just first go through the Lucid Charts UI. So here you'll find the menu that will help us to do what? To navigate through the through this application here. Then here we'll find the important tools that you may need, for example, bolding and the rest, to format our diagram. Then here we'll have now the shapes that we'll need to input into our diagram. So these shapes can be divided. They are divided into different ones. Two different sections. We have that one of shapes here. We have this one of containers, and then you have this one for what? For the one that have not linked any data. So let's come here to shapes. Okay, let's come here to shapes. So here in shapes, you can add what you need to look at straight when you start designing. So to add, for example, this one that you'll find there, they may not make sense for you until you add some for yourself. So let's go ahead and add some shapes that we'll need when you're designing when you're designing an ERD. To do that, you click on this shape library. So when you click on shape library, you can go ahead and search for the shape that you need. So for example, what we need right now is entity relationship diagrams, or ERD. So go ahead and type here entity, or like this, or type ERD. Then we'll see entity relationship here. So click that one, and you can see examples on what they talk about them, and then select it, and then say use shapes. So you can see here we have got more shapes that have been added to our tab, but you can as well find them here. These are for the flow charts, these are the containers, these are UML cases, these are the entity relationship diagrams are not there. Just come here on top and add them by yourself. Okay, so after adding them, you can as well arrange them. You can even remove them. So these are the most diagrams that you're going to use almost in our entire relationship diagram designing. So we have that one now. So the next thing that we're going to do is now to look at different items that we will need. First of all, have these plain items. This plain one. This one will just have a table name and then the fields that will be added in the table. This one, you'll have the field and then the field value, what it does, and then also the field name. Then this one, you will have a field, and then the field type, and then the field, the field key, whether it's a primary key or not, then the field type, and then here the field the field type, whether it's a string or integer or what. So this one you can use it to be much more specific. So I think we're going to use this one with 2. Okay, so each of these one will represent a table. So I'll just simply drag and drop it there. Okay, so after drag and dropping it there, you can increase the font if you want maybe much more clear things, And you can as well do what? You can as well do the zooming. You can as well zoom it. You can as well zoom your what? Your field. So this is our first entity. I can as well zoom it like this. So that's our first entity, or what you can call our table. So after doing that, now we say that our first entity is going to be users, or what we're going to record users. Okay, so we're going to record users. So I'll begin by saying users. You can as well bold it. So that's users, and then we can remove here and put PK. PK stands for primary key, and then we can remove these other fields in case we don't need them. Okay, these ones. So PK means a primary key, and if you follow in our previous videos, we say the primary key is very important for every entity relationship diagram, because a primary key, I mean for every table or for every entity, it's the one that we'll use to uniquely identify a certain record in our table. So let me go ahead and remove these fields because we may not need them. Okay, so after doing that, now the next thing that we're going to do is to determine fields that we're going to collect in users for users. So the first field, of course, we'll need the ID, and that is the primary key. So after creating the ID, so the next thing, let me first save. I'll save by calling this one my ERD. Okay, so the next thing after creating ID, so the next thing we'll need maybe the user's first name, and then after we'll need the user's last name. So we may now need to duplicate this one and insert it below it. Okay, duplicate it. So to duplicate, you just right click and then click on duplicate here like this. No, and I've not. I want to duplicate a specific column. That's what I want to do. Select the column, right click. I want to duplicate this row. There is a shortcut that you used to use. Here, so right click on it and then come to, okay, click on it, and then here there's a shortcut that I used to use. Let me look for it. Okay, it is here. Row below. Okay, so when you click on below here, they'll give you another row below it. Okay, though there is another one that I thought that can be much more better. This one is fun shading. Okay, so you can select here, and then you can say maybe click on this plus there to increase it. They changed it, and you can click on this one to reduce it. Okay, this one. So I can click on this above to add more rows. So I can go ahead and delete these keys because I don't need them. There was a way of how you can duplicate a specific row. So after doing that, now the next thing is to add more fields. Okay, so we've had those fields, so the next thing we're going to add another field. So you have the first name of a person, the username, the last name. So what else can we need to define a person or the user? We may need his photo, a profile picture, and maybe some details about this user. And then now we need this person to be able to log in. So we may collect his user name, and may also collect his password. Okay, so the username can be the email as well. Okay, so that is the entity relationship diagram. So if you have more columns, you can as well reduce them. If you have more rows, the more fields, you can as well reduce them by clicking on this up. Okay, this down to reduce them. So now we have that table of that table of users. So it means that when we design our real table of users, these are things that we're going to put, or these are the fields that we're going to put in that table of users. So we are done with this first fields. Okay, so after getting done, so the next thing is now the posts themselves. Okay, now the post. Okay, so let's go ahead and duplicate, copy this, and then paste it. You can as well copy this table by right clicking on it and then say copy. Okay, then, or you can just press Ctrl and C, click on the table and then press Ctrl and C, and then Ctrl V to paste it. So you have now two tables, but this table I want to use it for what? For posts. So what I'll do, I'll come and double click here and write posts. So now we determine things that we're going to use for posts. Now, first of all, the post will have an ID, of course. So that's an ID. So the next thing, the post will have a title. So the next thing, the post will have the description, all the details. And then we'll have the photo for the post, or what we call the thumbnail. So that's, I think, all we need to do what? To record a post. The title, the details, and what? And description. So I can remove the remaining columns that I don't want. So those, okay, maybe also the one who posted this post, the person who posted this post. So it means that if we need to record this post alongside the person who posted it, it means that then this post is going to be related to the user, because we will not need to put all the user's information to this post. So all what you'll need is to connect this post to this user. So here you're going to put user underscore ID. So when when the user will be posting, we'll be getting that user's ID and record it here, so that the user is related to the post that he or she posted. So that's how related. So later we'll draw the relationship. Okay, so after putting the post, so the next thing that you'll have to do is now the views. So every person who views a post, we have to know who has viewed it, or the number of views that we have on a post. So let's go ahead and create the view. So we'll go ahead and copy the post and then we paste it. So we're going to do what? And give this post a view. We're going to create another table called views. So the first thing that we'll have to do in the views table, of course, is to add the ID. As you can see, I've added the ID. So the next thing is, maybe we may need to see the time when this person or when this post was viewed. Okay, which post? Not before we put the time. First of all, we will also need to know which post does this view belong to. So meaning that, again, we're going to have a foreign key. This one, the one that we call in fact foreign key, because it is a what? It is a key from an external table. So we're going to have also another foreign key here, and the purpose of that foreign key is the post itself. Okay, the view. The post where this view belongs to. So we're going to put here post underscore ID. So since this ID will be coming from an external post, then this one will also be called foreign key. So now maybe we may need also the time when this post was created, when this view was created. Okay, so I think that's enough for us to record the view, because we don't need to connect this one to a user. Why? Because sometimes someone may not be logged in to view a post. So we will need just an ID of a post, and then the post ID, the ID of the post, also the ID of this very view, and then also maybe the time when this view was made. So we can go ahead and remove the remaining columns. Okay, so that is what the view. So the next thing that we're going to do is now the comments. So we have to know who commented, or what went, how the comments. We need to record the comments. So a comment is going to be also an independent table. Why? Because we need to have some details about about the comment. So I'll copy the table and paste it there, and then go ahead and put here comments like this. Then in this comments table, we will need, of course, the comment ID, which will be the primary key of that comment, and then we will need the post where this comment belongs to. Okay, so it's going to be also a primary key, a foreign key, post ID. So it's going to be a foreign key. Why? Because this one is going to depend on a post on which this post does this comment belong to. So after doing that, then we'll need a person who made this comment, or the user who commented this. So this is going to be also a foreign key. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and say user underscore ID. So this is also going to be a foreign key. Then now we'll need the comment itself, okay, or the body of the comment. You can call it body, you can call it detail, you can call it whatever, description, anything. So I can call details. So details is where we'll now put the real comment, and maybe we may also need to record the time when this comment was made. So this is going to be the time that when the comment was made. So I can call it created. Okay, so that is what we'll need to record a comment. We need the comment ID itself, the post where this comment belongs to, and then the user who made this comment, and then the comment itself and the time when this comment was done, was posted. So after doing that, the next thing we'll need the likes. Okay, now who liked this comment? Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Of course, going also to be another independent table, but will look much more like this views table. So let's go ahead and paste this views table. So we're going to put here likes. Okay, so the first thing will be the primary key, which is ID, and then the next thing, the primary key, the ID of this particular like. The next thing is going to be the foreign key of the post where this like belongs to. So the next thing that you're going to put here is, of course, another foreign key of a user who liked this this post. So it means this post. So to like a post means that you need to be logged in, and will need to collect your foreign key. So, and also then the time when you like, you don't write anything details in that like. You just, so maybe you can add another like type, whether it is a dislike or like, but for now let us keep it simple like that. So all our tables have been designed, so all our entity have been designed, and we can see all of them that we'll need to create a news application or a blog application. They are there. So now the next thing is now to relate them. Now the relationship, that's why I call entity relationship diagrams. So to relate these entities is just to connect these diagrams, so that in case another person want to contribute to our application, he can look and simply understand how our application design, and then they can also be able to contribute towards it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to connect this post with the the post with the user who posted it. So what shall we do? You just move your mouse over here, move your mouse over over the primary key, and then you move the mouse to the post here. So now these diagrams, we have what we call the relationship type. Okay, so these relationship types, they can be seen by the end signs here. Okay, by the end signs here. Let me increase the width of this so it can be seen clearly. Okay, so relationship types can be defined by one to many, means that one person can post one person can post many posts. That's what we call one to many. So to do a one to many, we just simply we put here, and then we come and select here the beginning type, and put here the one which has one, as you can see here. one sign, this bar sign, this one. Okay, and then the many one is the one which has many distributed sign at the end of it here. Okay, so if you click here and you click here at the end, so this one the beginning, this one at the end, then you click here the one with many. So what does it mean here? It means that one user, well, that's why you see here there's one, can post so many what? So many posts, which is really true. One user can post so many posts. So that's it. Now the next thing is now to relate. I think this foreign key, this post has been related now. Okay, so the next thing is now to relate this. Now to relate this post with views, every foreign key must be connected. So to relate this post with views, so how shall we do it? We'll just simply say so this one has a foreign key of post ID. So one post can have many views. One post can have many views. So how shall we do that? By just pointing here the ID and then come and move it here. And maybe you can increase its width. Okay? So it means that one post can have many views. So that is understood. So the next thing is connecting the what? The comments. So the comments has two relationships. The first thing is the person who commented on this. Okay. So how shall we do that? We shall just simply, of course, you can as well put this one here. Okay, let us put it here. So you can come and move your mouse here and then move it here. First of all, begin with the user. So you can, of course, space them. You can space your columns. So I'll go ahead and increase. Okay. So now what does this one mean? It means that one user can have many what? Many comments. Okay. One user can have many comments. So let's go ahead and design also and connect also this post ID. So I'll just go ahead and click on this one and then come and move this one here. So this post ID, it is coming from this post. So let us go ahead and zoom it and increase its width. So what does this relationship mean? It means that one post can have many comments, which is really true. One post can have many comments. So we are remaining with likes. Likes, we can put it on top. Let us go ahead and move these guys. So I'm going to, okay, you can as well move the like here. You see, the good with the Lucy chart, you can just as well move it like this. So after, you can zoom out, you can move, you can select your charts, move them down, like this. Then you can move this guy down here, like this. Okay. So now, how are we going to do this one? It's going to be, first of all, the post itself. So I'll just move this ping here on post and then point on likes. Then we can also increase it. So what does this one mean? It means that one post can have many likes. Okay. Then lastly is now to connect the user or the friend key of user ID. So how shall we do that? By moving here our mouse to the user ID and then move it to the friend key of the user. And then we can have like this. Okay. So how shall we do that? But here for the user, one user can only have one like about a particular post. So you're going to do what? You're going to do it one-to-one. So to do it one-to-one, so you just simply click here and then come and change this one and do it one. So what does it mean? It means that one user can like only one post at once. So that's what it means. So by doing like this, we'll have come up with a what? With our entity relationship diagram. Then after, we can export this entity relationship diagram. Okay. So you can view it in full screen. You see? I hope you can understand that. I hope you can now look at this and make and know how things are related to each other. So when you start designing your application, or when you design your application, you're now good. You now really know how these entities are related to each other. And that's how we do the entity relationship. So go ahead and do your own, and you just come up with an idea. It can be a mobile application. It can be a music application. It can be an e-commerce application and the rest. But go ahead and pause the video and create your own. Okay. So after doing that, now you can go ahead and export this ERD so that your friends can, or even you to remind yourself, can see how things are related to each other. So let's go ahead and export it. So to export it, you just simply come, for example, this one, I'll name it first to what? News, news application. So I'll have to export it. So to export it, you just simply come to file and say, and you'll see here, export. So you can export, you can export to PDF. So if you want this file to be exported to PDF, you can do so. You can export it to PNG. You can export it to JPG or to any type that you want. So I'm going to export it to what? To PDF. Okay. So when I click on PDF, it will process, and then my file will be ready. Okay. My file will be ready. As I'm not seeing it. Okay, here is the PDF. So before the export is made, they can ask me if I want to export a specific parts. Okay, so in case I want to export a specific parts, I can say custom here, and then I can crop only the parts that I want. Okay, for example, I can say I want only this part, so that I should not waste some space. I can do like this. Then I say crop. Then when I click on crop, I will given a preview. If I still want to crop it more, I can still as well crop it more. And then after, I can now export this PDF file. Okay, I can export it by just simply click on PDF, and then I click on. I've just again removed my. My custom crop. Okay, the crop is okay, and then I click PDF, and then I go ahead and say download. So when you click on download, you'll have now your ERD downloaded. It's processing. And news app ERD. So when I click here, now I can see my ERD there in PDF format. Okay, and I can as well put now this one in my GitHub, so that in my GitHub repositories, that when I do what, when I want to remind myself about the diagram, I can just simply come to that. By the way, let us go ahead and do our GitHub. Okay, let's go ahead and do our GitHub and do our GitHub source code. So to do that, I'll just simply come to my browser, and then I click to desktop, and then I click to GitHub, where I always keep my GitHub repositories. And then there is one for learning web. Oh, learning web, we did not put it there. You put it under htdocs. htdocs is on desktop here. So I'll come to learn web. Is it learn web or learn PHP? Learn PHP. And then I can drag and drop and throw here my ERD. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. This is my ERD. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay, there it is. I'll select everything here, and I put it in this folder where there is the content. Okay, so after doing that, I'm going to open my GitHub and push, and then you can also pull from that side. Okay, so and that will call it a day. Learn web. Is it learn PHP from 0 to hero? This one. Okay, so ERD added. Commit, and then push. Okay, So after doing that, for you can come to our GitHub, to my GitHub, which is GitHub Mobahood. There, then click on repositories. Then you'll be able to see my public repositories. You can search learn PHP from zero to hero. This one, okay? So click on it, and then you'll see all the files that I've added. It is public, so you can access everything. You can even see the ERD that I've just added right now, where it's already there. Okay, you can even download it. So hey, you can go ahead and do what and play with my source code. Okay, that's it for today. So that's how you can download my code by just simply clicking here and then say download, and then you can have a copy of my code in your in your computer. So that's it for today. I hope it was a productive class for you. If it was, then make sure subscribe to this YouTube channel so that when you upload the next video, you get a notification. So see you in the next class and have a nice moment. In the next class, we'll also go ahead and see how we can learn deeply how to design these ERDs. Goodbye.